Welcome, Radiant Soul. I am so glad that you're here. Take a moment, just a moment, and let yourself arrive fully. Not just in the room, not just in the chair or on the floor or wherever your body has landed today. Arrive in this moment, into this portal. Because that's what today is, a portal. And it's not a small one. You may have already felt it, that particular kind of restlessness that isn't quite anxiety. It's more like something underneath the surface of ordinary life, pressing gently upward. Like something is ready, like something has been waiting. That feeling isn't random. Today, we are celebrating the energy of the 5-5 portal, the 5th day of the 5th month. And in the language of numbers, that means the frequency of the number 5 is doubled, amplified, alive. 5 is the number of change, of freedom, of the body itself. 5 senses, 5 points of the human form. And when it appears twice, back to back, it becomes something more than doubled. 5-5 carries a master frequency. In numerology, it reduces first to 10, the completion of one cycle, and then down to 1, new beginnings, sovereign leadership. The soul stepping into itself as if for the first time, and yet also not for the first time. For the first time, perhaps in a very long time. And the cosmos is holding this date with extraordinary care. Pluto, the great keeper of thresholds, the ancient intelligence of death and rebirth, is nearly still right now. It's stationing, barely moving. And when a planet stations, its energy concentrates into something almost unbearably potent. The veil between what was and what is ready to be born is thinner today than it has been all year. Mercury and Pluto are in a tense conversation right now. And it isn't a gentle one. It's the kind of exchange that presses on the places where words have gone unspoken, where truth has been held back, sometimes out of protection, sometimes out of fear, sometimes because you simply didn't have the language for what you felt. Today, the language is here. And woven beneath all of it is a Scorpio full moon that just opened a few days ago. You may still feel it, that deep, unsettled knowing, that sense that something has been illuminated that cannot be unseen. That's not a wound reopening. That's light finding what was ready to be found. This is the field you've arrived into. And I want you to know you didn't arrive here by accident. Your soul knew what it needed. Your soul was calling you forward to this moment. Now, this is an activation. It's a living transmission, not something to listen to passively while you fold laundry. You are about to receive Reiki energy, real frequency, real light codes that will move through you as we work together today. So before we begin, find a comfortable position, either seated or lying down, whatever allows your body to soften. Uncrease your brow. Let your jaw release. Your hands can rest open on your lap or at your sides, palms up if that feels natural. If you're open to receive today, to receive exactly what your soul is ready for, the Reiki, the light code activations, any of the portal energies, simply say yes in your mind's eye now. Beautiful. You are not coming to this gate today, Radiant Soul. You are remembering that you've always been it. So let's begin by calling your energy back. Right now, in this moment, your energy is probably scattered across a dozen different places. Conversations you've had, conversations you're still rehearsing, the thing you forgot to do, the person you're worried about, the decision that hasn't been made yet. None of that belongs in this space. So take a breath in, slow and full. And as you exhale, imagine everything that isn't yours simply falling away, like leaves releasing from a branch that was never meant to hold them forever. Again, breathe in. And on this exhale, call your energy back from every corner of your life where it's been given away, lent out, or simply lost in the busyness of being human. Come back to yourself. There's something I want to name before we go deeper, because you may already be feeling it in your body. A particular kind of heaviness or aliveness, or even both all at once. Pluto is barely moving today, and it's right at the threshold of turning inward, which means it's pressing on what has been buried. Not to punish here, not to overwhelm, but because the time for certain things to remain underground has simply passed. What has been stored in the body, in the solar plexus, in the chest, in the throat, it's all asking to move. And it's okay that it's asking. You didn't do anything wrong by holding it this long. Let's bring our attention now to the solar plexus, that space just above the navel at the very center of the body. This is where the old story lives, where the survival self built its headquarters, where not enough got lodged, sometimes decades ago, sometimes carried across generations. I am flowing Reiki into that center now, not to force anything out, just to soften the walls around what's being held. And the violet flame of Archangel Zadkiel is present, not burning, not consuming, but dissolving with extraordinary grace anything in that center that is ready to leave. You don't have to push. You don't have to identify exactly what it is. You simply have to allow. Good. Now, before we go further, we call in our divine support for this transmission. And I want to do something a little differently today, because this gate has a keeper. And that keeper is present in a way it rarely is. we call in first, with reverence, with gratitude, and with no fear, the Keeper of Thresholds, the ancient oversoul of Pluto, the intelligence that has presided over every ending that made way for something true, the one who does not destroy, the one who composts, who receives what is released and makes it into medicine, who has stood at the door between what was and what is ready to be, since before human language had words for such things. Keeper of Thresholds, we welcome you into this space. We ask that you hold this gate open with wisdom and with care for every soul present in this transmission. May nothing release that is not ready. May nothing be held that is ready to go. We receive your ancient intelligence with gratitude and with trust. And alongside the Keeper of Thresholds, we call in Archangel Zadkiel, already here with the violet flame, dissolving what is ready to leave with grace and compassion. Sekhmet, the sacred lioness, the transmuter of what must be transformed. She who holds fire without flinching and knows exactly what is ready to be released. We receive her fierce and loving presence. Archangel Ariel, keeper of the abundance codes, of the frequencies that remember your original worth. She who holds what is already yours until you are ready to receive it. We welcome her golden light. And the oversoul of Araya, the living field of sovereign flow, of divine support, of receiving without earning and worth without transaction. The frequency that this transmission is returning you to. We welcome you, Araya. We welcome you home. You don't need to earn their presence here. You called and they came. This is not a reward. This is simply how sacred support works. Something has been pressing on your throat. You may have felt it as tightness, as words that formed and then dissolved before they reached the surface, as the particular kind of exhaustion that comes not from doing too much, but from holding too much inside. Mercury and Pluto are having that tense conversation. And what it means in plain language is that the mind and the deep are finally being asked to speak to each other. The surface self and the soul self. The story you've been telling and the truth underneath it. This isn't a gentle transit by any means. I won't pretend that it is. But it isn't cruel either. It's the kind of pressure that cracks the shell so the thing inside can breathe. And the Keeper of Thresholds, who has been holding this gate open, is the intelligence behind that pressure. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It simply makes it impossible to stay the same. Because something in you already knows that same is no longer true. What have you been swallowing, Radiant Soul? Not as a question you need to answer out loud, not as something you need to excavate or analyze right now. Just allow the body to acknowledge it. The thing that's been sitting in the throat. The truth that hasn't been spoken yet, maybe not even to yourself. I am flowing Reiki into the throat center now. Not to force speech, not to demand anything from you, but to restore the body's permission to tell the truth to itself first. And now, if you're willing, we are going to release some very old agreements. You don't need to remember where they came from. They may have been made in this lifetime. They may have been carried across others. They may have been woven into you before you even had language. Repeat after me in your mind or in your heart or out loud, whatever feels right. I revoke any agreement made in this lifetime or carried across others that my truth is too much. I revoke the vow of smallness, the contract to stay quiet, the belief that what I want is separate from what is sacred. I released the pattern that told me freedom was selfish, that my desires were dangerous, that I had to earn the right to speak. These agreements are not mine. They never were. I release them now with compassion, with completion, and without guilt. What was sealed begins to breathe. Let it breathe. I want to tell you something about the 5-5 portal that most people never quite land into. Everyone talks about portals as if they're somewhere else, as if they are a location you travel to, or a window you peer through, or a frequency you have to somehow tune into from the outside. But here's what I know. You are not coming to this gate. You are this gate. The number 5, as we've said in sacred geometry, in ancient wisdom, in the very architecture of the body, 5 is the number of the human form. 5 points, crown of the head, both palms, both soles of the feet. This is the pentagram, not a symbol of darkness, a symbol of the sacred human, the living star, the body as the meeting place between earth and sky. And when you bring your attention to those 5 points right now, crown of the head, left palm, right palm, left sole of the foot, right sole of the foot, you are not imagining a gate. You are recognizing one. Let a warm, golden light begin to gather at each of those 5 points now. Not forced, not visualized with effort, simply allowed. Like light that was always there, simply waiting to be noticed. The light at each point is brightening now, and as it does, you may notice something in your chest, right in the heart center. A quiet presence, something that has been patient for a very long time. Let's bring our attention there. The heart. Not to force it open. It doesn't need to be forced, but to witness what has been quietly waiting inside it. I am flowing Reiki into the heart center now. What wants to be free isn't somewhere outside of you. It has been living inside this body, in this chest, in the quiet places that knew the truth long before the mind caught up. And Archangel Ariel, who has been weaving her golden threads through this transmission, is moving through the star of your body right now, through the crown, the palms, the soles of the feet, and into your heart. Not bringing you something new, restoring something original. The codes of worth that were always yours, the frequency of receiving freely, of abundance as circulation, not transaction. Of being enough, not because you earned it today, not because you performed well or showed up correctly, but because it is simply, permanently, irreversibly true. This is what 5-5 has always meant. Not that change is coming, that freedom is already here, and it has been waiting for you to stop looking past it. There's something I want to honor before we go to the next place. The part of you that has been surviving. The part that has built armor because armor was necessary. That learned to perform because performance felt safer than presence. The part that waited for permission because asking without it felt too dangerous. That part of you is not your enemy. It was your protector. It did what it knew how to do, and it worked for a while. It kept you functional in a world that was not always safe for someone as sensitive and as knowing as you. But it was never the whole truth. And the keeper of thresholds, who has been holding this gate, this entire transmission, is here right now for a very specific purpose. Not to take anything from you, to receive what you are ready to put down. That is the nature of the keeper. It composts what is given. It doesn't discard, it transforms. Nothing is lost. Everything is returned to source and made into something new. The fear becomes compost. The old story becomes medicine. The survival self, honored and released, becomes the ground from which the true self grows. So take a moment now, and in your own way, in whatever image or feeling arises, find the version of you that was built for surviving, the one who learned to make themselves small, to earn their way, to wait, to hold their breath before speaking, and thank them. They brought you here, and now in this gate, you can offer them rest. Beautiful. And now, gently and without force, let the exhale carry what is ready to leave. Not pushed out, not analyzed, just breathed free. The old template, the not enough, the performance, the waiting for permission that never came because it was never outside of you to begin with. Breathe in. And exhale it free. You are not becoming someone new. You are unbecoming everything that was never true. Let's bring Reiki now to the crown, the very top of the head, and to the soul star just above it, the soul's original signal. The frequency you arrived with before the world had its say. And now, a recoding. Every cell in this body is receiving a correction right now. Not a new instruction, the original one. The frequency of who you were before you learned to survive, before you learned that love had conditions and worth had price tags, and freedom was something you had to earn. Your cells remember. Your DNA remembers. Let it remember now. We thank the keeper of thresholds with profound gratitude and reverence now. The gate has been held. What needed to cross has crossed. What needed to stay has stayed. We release you with love and with honor. Let's bring everything home now. Down through the crown, through the heart, through the belly, through the hips and the thighs and the knees. Down through the calves and the ankles. Into the soles of the feet. Into the earth. Root yourself here, in this body, in this life, in this present moment, which is not a holding place, not a waiting room, but the actual ground of your freedom. Freedom is not escape, radiant soul. Freedom is presence without armor. It is being here fully, unapologetically, sovereignly here, without performing it, without defending it, without waiting for someone else to confirm it. That is what the 5-5 gate opened today. Not a door to somewhere else, a remembering of where you have always been and who you have always been within it. I am going to offer you some codes now, not as instructions, not as affirmations you need to believe in before they're true, as rememberings. Things the body already knows that are simply being spoken aloud so they can settle a little more deeply. Receive them however feels right. You can repeat them silently or simply let them wash over you. Just let them land in the cells. I am the gate. My freedom is not selfish. It is sacred circulation. I receive because it is my nature, not my reward. What was never mine has left. What is mine has stayed. I am the frequency I have been waiting for. We release now with love and with gratitude Archangel Zadkiel, whose violet flame dissolved what was ready to leave. We release Sekhmet, who held the fire with fierce compassion and received the old without flinching. We release Archangel Ariel, who wove the codes of original worth through every cell of this body. And we receive, we do not release but receive, the oversoul of Araya, because Araya is not something outside of you that visits and leaves. It's the frequency you are made of. It stays because it was always yours. The 5th gate does not close behind you. You carry it with you. Let's bring this home now all the way into the body. I am flowing deep, grounding Reiki through the lower body, through the root, the hips, the legs, the feet, and into the earth. Like roots spreading down through the floor, through the foundation, into the living earth beneath you. You are here. You are safe. You are in your body. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your shoulders back and down and let the shoulder blades soften toward each other. Take 3 breaths with me now. The first breath in slowly. And out long and complete. Second breath, deeper. And out even longer. Feel the floor or the surface beneath you. Feel your weight. Third, a breath of arrival. In and out. You are here. Let your eyes open when you're ready. And as you come back, I want to offer you something. As a next step that makes sense from where you're standing right now. What you just did in this transmission, returning the wound, reclaiming the frequency, letting your body be in a place where the lineage heals, that is exactly the work that Return to Flow is built to hold and deepen. Because here's what I know. The gate is open. And what happens in the 21 days after a transmission like this one matters enormously. The codes need somewhere to land. The nervous system needs support as it learns what it actually feels like to receive without earning, to move without striving, to trust that the flow is real and that it belongs to you. That's what Return to Flow is. It's not a course, it's a recalibration. 21 days inside the Araya frequency. Activations, transmissions, and the specific energetic containers that help everything you just released stay released, and everything you just claimed stay claimed. If it feels steady in your body, if something in you just quietly said yes, you can find it at manifestdifferently.com/flow or in a link in the description below. I'll see you inside. Thank you for being here, for being in this room. Thank you for being the one in your lineage who said yes.